The scary thing about trauma is you're dealing with past trauma that makes you feel like you're that age again, but you're also now creating new trauma that will need to be processed at some point in the future. I met someone in college and started talking and hit it off, right? You're telling each other everything you know about yourself, and you're learning new things about yourself through that process, and you're falling in love, right? And here's this other person who's helping you fall more in love with yourself, right? It's what you hear about in the stories and in the books, right? We dated for 6 years on and off. It was the hardest thing in my life because here's this person who I gave all of myself to, literally, like every piece of me. Here's this person who had sat with me and been there through probably some of the hardest moments in my life. And at the same point, she was also telling me that I wasn't good enough to come out for. And so I spent 6 years trying to prove to this person who told me they loved me over and over again, told me that we would spend our lives together, we talked about the future and families and kids and where we would live, right? We're having all of those conversations, and yet I can't come home with you. I can't go to big major life events with you. I can't do all the things that we should be able to do as a couple. And it got worse as time went on. After college, I stayed in Erie and she moved to Cleveland. And we'd visit each other every weekend, right? Long distance sucks, but it's a thing. And at the beginning, it feels great, right? It's like she's part of my life, she's getting to know my people. And then as time goes on, you realize, oh wait, but that's not happening for her. I'm not being integrated into her life. Fast forward, you're at an event with all your friends, and she is so drunk to the point that she can't care for herself and ends up in the ER portion of where you are. And so you go there to help her, and you're sitting there trying to figure out, okay, like, are you okay? How are we gonna get you home? And you're using her phone to call her sister because she's the closest place, she's the closest person. And you see these messages from another guy calling her baby and sweetheart and I miss you and I can't wait till we're together. And you realize, what have we been doing for 2 years? We've been together 2 years. And you're talking to some other guy? The circumstances enhanced our negative behaviors. So I became paranoid and anxious. She would gaslight me and lie to me. So anytime I thought something was going on, she would make me feel crazy, right? And at the same point, I didn't trust her, which probably made her feel terrible and probably affected her worth and her issues more. So I break up with her. We stop talking for a period of time, a couple months. Then we start talking again. I'm so sorry. I'm not ready to be out. I didn't know how to navigate this. My parents are really religious. So now her Catholic shame is bringing up your Catholic shame. These things that I've had to deal with, that I did deal with, right? I thought I worked through all this. I thought I processed all this. I think I know what I think about all this. But I love you. We've spent years together already. Like, I can't just turn that off. I can't turn those feelings off. But you've got the same shame I do, and you're not as far along in the process. And I asked you when we first started dating where you were in the process, and you lied to me because you knew that I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone who wasn't ready. And you weren't ready, but you wanted it. But we start talking again, and you tell me all the right things. You tell me all the ways that you're ready now. And I want to give you the benefit of the doubt because I remember what that feels like. I remember not being ready. I remember needing someone to be there for me. I remember needing someone else to say, let me walk with you through this. because it was lonely and it was hard trying to figure that all out, as I didn't know if the people who cared about me the most would actually love me when I dealt with this. Shouldn't I give that back to you in return? Okay, let's get back together. When we're together and it's the two of us, it's perfect. Or at least I think it's perfect, and I'm convincing myself that it's perfect because I want this feeling, I want this love, right? But it's not perfect, and we're fighting and we're arguing because I know deeply inside of me that you're not ready. And I know deeply inside of me that I can't force you to be ready, but I want you to be ready. And every time it feels like that moment when I was in the closet and I didn't feel good enough. The moment of, I'll never be loved for being gay. I'll never be good enough because I'm gay. I'll never be happy because I'm gay. I'm with someone who's telling me they love me, but doesn't act like it. And I don't want to force you to be ready, but I want you to be ready. But I can't, and so do I just wait? And if I wait, what am I giving up? Am I giving up my best years? Am I giving up my youth? Am I giving up my dignity and my worth again? And so you go back to trust, right? It took so long to trust myself. It took so long to be able to say, yeah, I'm gay and it's okay and I like this part of me. And now I'm with someone who can't do the same. And I'm with someone who can't say that about me out loud to other people. I'm finally ready to tell other people. I've been doing this for years. I've dated multiple people who have been out and it's been easy, but they weren't the right person. And now I'm with someone who I think is the right person. But you can't tell your family. You can't tell our friends. Our friends know, they see it, like they know. But you can't tell them. It doesn't make sense. She is out now. To hear that she's ready now and to see her give all these things to this other girl that she could never give me, it was hard. She needed to lose everything in order to gain everything. And I think that's what happened for her. We had this whole life together that I think she thought we would have, and she lost all of that, which made her realize, okay, is this what I really want? Like, how bad do I want this? Is it worth it? And I think that's a question a lot of people on the LGBTQ plus spectrum have to answer. Like, is it really worth it? Is this lifestyle worth the pain? Is it worth the relationships you might lose? Is it worth society sometimes not accepting you? At the end of the day, like, is it worth it to love the person you love? Yeah, 100%. But there's so many other layers to it that everyone has to come to their own terms with. So when you want to talk about, like, what's the most difficult thing of being gay? I don't know, but I think it has to do with not trusting yourself to the point where you're willing to hurt everybody around you, not being comfortable enough to be yourself, that you're willing to give every part of you away to just to be what you think other people want you to be. And like, not only have I been that person and done that, but I've been hurt by that person and still wanted to be with that person afterwards. And so when you talk about, like, what's hard, what do you do when you love someone and you know you can't be with them because they're not good for you and they're not right for you and they're not ready for you? That's my story. Like, my story about being gay. The family part was easy. The coming out part was easy. And it wasn't. Like, it was still traumatizing and there's so much shame around it. But compared to trying to find the one or being in a relationship with someone who tells you all the things you've spent your whole life trying to hear, right? What do you do after that? And I needed this person to hurt me over and over and over again in the same way, in probably one of the most personal, damaging, like, you will never be good enough ways because you're not a man. And it made me go back and look at all those moments in childhood where I had a person like that in my life telling me they loved me, but also telling me they hated gay people. Right? Because essentially that's what I was doing. I was dating a person I'd seen my whole life. Hey, I love you and I care about you, but we think homosexuals are evil or wicked or going to hell.